20 years, when Portugal needed a goal, there was one man they turned to. Last night, that man stood in front of an open goal at his final World Cup, and the ball would not go in. Cristiano Ronaldo, 41 years old, missed two glorious chances as Portugal were held to a shocking 1-1 draw by DR Congo in their opening match. And that single dropped point, and the man at the center of it, tells you everything about where Portugal really are. So let's talk about what this means going forward and why it all comes back to Ronaldo. First, the game. Portugal started like favorites. Just after the 5th minute, João Neves rose and headed them in front. 1-0, early, perfect. And for most of the match, Portugal did exactly what you expect from a top team, holding around 80% of possession, camped in DR Congo's half, knocking on the door again and again. But possession is not the same as danger. On the stroke of halftime, DR Congo struck. Ioane Wissa met across, headed home, and scored his nation's first ever World Cup goal.
A team appearing at the tournament for the first time since 1974, back when they were called Zaire, had just leveled it against one of the favorites. And Portugal, for all their dominance, could not find the winner. A Cancelo bicycle kick was ruled offside, DR Congo hit the post on the break, and the match finished 1-1. Now, the heart of the story. Cristiano Ronaldo. This was supposed to be his stage. At 41, in his record-equaling 6th World Cup, everyone knew this was almost certainly the last one. The final chapter. The script wrote itself. The old king. One more tournament. One more moment of magic. And the moments came. Twice in the second half, Ronaldo found himself with the chance to win it. Twice, he fired wide. And twice the cameras caught him shaking his head in pure disgust at himself. Here is the number that should worry Portugal. With that miss, Ronaldo's goalless run in major tournaments has now stretched to 10 games. 10. This is a man who built an entire career, an entire identity on delivering in the biggest moments.
The header against England, the free kicks, the knockout round winners. Scoring was never the question with Ronaldo. Now, suddenly, it is the only question. And the universe could not have scripted a crueler contrast. Just one day before, on the very same stage, his lifelong rival Lionel Messi walked out and scored a hat trick in Argentina's opener, the first of his career at a World Cup at 38 years old. One aging legend lit the tournament on fire. The other stood frozen in front of goal. For 2 decades, these two have been measured against each other, and on the opening weekend of their final World Cups, the gap could not have looked wider.
So that is the picture. But here is where it gets interesting, because this draw is not the disaster it looks like, and Ronaldo's story is far from over. Let's start with the cold, practical truth, because panic makes for bad analysis. In this new 48-team World Cup, the group stage is more forgiving than ever. The top 2 teams from every group advance automatically, and on top of that, the 8 best third-place teams also go through. A single draw in your opening game is very rarely fatal anymore. Portugal are not in danger of going out. They're simply not yet in control of their group, and that is a very different thing.
And tactically, there are real positives buried in the frustration. 80% possession is not nothing. Portugal created the chances. Neves scored a lovely header. The young, livelier players who came on, like Conceição, looked dangerous and kept setting Ronaldo up. This was not a team that was outplayed. It was a team that dominated and simply forgot how to finish for one night. That is a far easier problem to fix than being overrun. But every single one of those fixes runs through the same question. What do you do with Cristiano Ronaldo? Because this is the real decision facing manager Roberto Martínez, and it is brutal. Ronaldo is 41. He's the captain, the icon, the all-time leading scorer, the emotional soul of this team. But last night, he was also the man who missed the chances that would have won the game. Do you keep starting a 41-year-old legend on reputation and on the dream of one last fairy tale goal? Or do you start trusting the hungry young attackers who were creating those chances in the first place? There is no easy answer, and that is exactly what makes Portugal so fascinating to watch from here. Keep faith in Ronaldo, and if he scores, it becomes one of the greatest stories in World Cup history. The king delivering at the very end. Drop him, and you risk benching a legend who might still have one moment of magic left and tearing the dressing room in two. Martínez is now walking a tightrope that the whole football world is watching. And do not write off the man himself. Ronaldo has been doubted at the end of every tournament for years, and time and again, he has answered. A goalless run of 10 games is heavy, yes, but it only takes one touch, one header, one moment to flip the entire narrative. The very next match, against a beatable opponent, could be the night the drought breaks and Portugal click into gear. That is the knife edge they are living on.
So what does this draw really mean for Portugal going forward? It means the safety net is still there, but the pressure has arrived early. It means the talent is obvious, but the finishing is a worry. And above all, it means the biggest question of their entire World Cup is no longer about tactics or formations. It is about one 41-year-old man in his final tournament, chasing one more goal. Portugal will go as far as Ronaldo's last chapter takes them. And right now, nobody, not even him, knows how that story ends. That is exactly why you cannot look away. If you want to follow every twist of Portugal's run and Ronaldo's final dance, this is the channel to do it. Subscribe, and let's watch the rest of this story together.